Greetings to all of you. My dear sisters and brothers and my dear friends, a warm welcome to all of you from your Pastor Yeti. When a woman meets Jesus. Normally I'm doing that on Saturday, but I am not able to do that. So here we go. Today we're going to talk about the rejected woman. In Samaria, he came to a town named Sychar, which was not far from the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired out by the trip, sat down by the well. It was about noon. A Samaritan woman came to draw some water, and Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink of water." His disciples had gone into town to buy food. The woman answered, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan. So, how can you ask me for a drink?" Jews will not use the same cups and bowls that Samaritans use. John chapter 4, verses 5 to 9. No place to call her home. This Samaritan girl's life could be the blueprint for any kind of a song entitled, "You Aren't Wanted Here Anymore." First, she was born into a culture filled with dissension. Believe me when I say that she wasn't the one who started the quarreling between the Jews and the Samaritans. Even though these two groups were really family, all descendants of Abraham, they did not get along. And for them to think about more of this or to become more of that, you do have to study historical background. And during Jesus' life, one of their greatest points of contention was the location of a temple to worship God. The Samaritans lived in a region called Samaria, settled by their ancestors who were from the bloodline of the 10 northern tribes of Israel. These tribes had decided years before that it was too far to travel to Jerusalem to worship. So they built their own temple on Mount Gerizim. This was a slap in the face to Jewish worshippers who believed Jerusalem to be not only the chosen geographical location, but also the God-ordained site for the temple. What made the relationship of these two groups even more contentious with activity documented by Jewish historian Josephus, who describes how the Samaritans turned into fair-weather relatives. At times when foreign armies attacked both groups, the Samaritans chose to throw their support behind the nations they perceived would help them the most, even when it was a foreign country that could do harm to their family members in Galilee and Judea. And of course, this infuriated the Jews, who felt a unified front would be a better way to conquer an enemy. Into this environment, the baby was born, a Samaritan. But that wasn't the biggest problem. What was worse, this baby was a girl. And to be a woman at this time in history put you on a level not much better than an animal. When this young girl married, she never imagined the trouble she was going to face. If she thought married was forever, she was wrong. And there was good reason to be worried if you were a woman entering into a marriage arrangement. Over 2,000 years ago, gosh, Women were considered property, first owned by their fathers and then by their husbands, and no time for dating, no choice as to whom you would like to spend your life with. Marriage was a business deal between a willing father and appropriated male. Once the marriage papers were signed and sealed, your husband, the new owner, had all rights over his property. Watch out, girls. If you burned your husband's dinner, lost one of his sheep, or didn't make love to his satisfaction, down to the local elders he would go, another all-male committee. Tell them that he didn't like about you. Say 3 times, I divorce you, and send you back home to Dad. That easy, that quickly, that harshly. So what happened to the poor Samaritan girl? Well, the first thing you know, husband number 1 said he did not want her anymore. When husband number 2 said, move on down the road, she was not quite. By the time husband number 5 sent her packing, she was already walking right into the arms of number 6. And this time, though, she did not bother getting married. She had found out nothing lasts forever. So why inconvenience herself or anybody else by putting her clothes in the dresser or a toothbrush in the medicine cabinet? She had given up looking for a place to hang her head, for a place she could call home. The man who loves all his children. As the woman approached the well, she saw a man, a Jewish man, who asked her for a favor. Will you please draw me a drink of water? She was stunned. This guy has got to be joking. She was through doing favors for man. She was not going to pass around her goodies anymore. Look where it had gotten her. She was nothing but cheap labor. She couldn't even get a marriage certificate to show for all her hard work. And now this Jewish fellow wanted her to get him a drink of water. And no wonder he didn't have a pot or a cup. So he was going to use hers. Being used. She knew what that was like. She recoiled. Not so fast, mister. Then she launched into a history lesson about the Jews and the Samaritans. We don't get along, let alone do favors for one another. So move on down the road, buddy. Ask someone else to be your servant. I won't do anything for you. This woman never knew anyone really cared about her. She never knew she had a family. She never knew she belonged to someone permanently, and that is, until the man at the well pulled out her birth certificate and told her to take a look. It was a brave move on the part of a Jewish man asking a Samaritan woman for a favor. It was a compassionate move if you are a loving parent who just found your child and can't wait to take her back home to dinner with the rest of her family. Our need. And his response. Do you feel as though you don't belong? All alone in a great big world, unwanted by family, abandoned by a person who promised to love you until death do us part. Rejected by parents who are too busy with their own lives to make time for you. Then you need to meet the man at the well. He is still searching for his lost children, the ones who have been cast off, the kids who think nobody cares. In Matthew, the tender care of our Heavenly Father is represented by a shepherd looking for a lost sheep. If a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for the one that wandered off? And if he finds it, I tell you the truth, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should be lost. Jesus longs to embrace you and bring you into his family circle, a place where you belong. And like the woman at the well, once we know we belong, we'll want to tell everyone. We'll want the entire town to meet our family. And John puts it this way when he describes what the Samaritan woman told anyone who would listen. Come, meet the man who loves me just as I am. Come, meet the family I didn't know I had. She shouted as she ran through town. See John chapter 4, verse 28 for that. Not even the disciples' condescending question to Jesus, why are you taking and talking to her, could damp this moment. No one could rain on this parade. Gone was the woman's self-doubt. Gone was the concern about what others might say about her. Gone was the fear that nobody wanted her. She belonged to someone, and that made all the difference in the world, and it will make a difference in your life too. For when we know we are family, when we know we belong, it changes everything. You belong too to the man who loves all his children. He embraces everyone, no matter what their track record. He doesn't have favorites. He doesn't single out one child over another. He loves us all the same. You are held by a bond that will never be broken. You are part of a family, and Jesus will never reject one of his children. Even if you feel broken down and used up like the woman at the well, because he is a loving parent, he will look for you every day. And when he catches the first glimpses of you, he won't regale you with reminders of your soiled past or berate your last. Your besmirched reputation, tarnishing his good name. A time for reflection. My thoughts on rejection Is there an experience in my life that left me feeling rejected? Did the person reject me? Who was that person? And how did the experience make me feel? How would I feel if I knew someone really cared about me? Affirmations. How blessed is God. Long before He laid down earth foundations, He had us in mind, had settled on us as the focus of His love. Long, long ago, He decided to adopt us in this family through Jesus Christ. Ephesians 1 verse 6. Let the Father love you, my dear ones. Let that be your blessing for the rest of your life, because He wants to take care of you. He wants to love you. He wants to embrace you. He will never, never reject you. Blessings to all of you, my dear ones. I wish you all a wonderful weekend yet to come, but make it a new adventure going through a wonderful weekend. Blessings, my dear ones. This is your Pastor Yeti. Bye.